So that being said, thank you so much for that introduction and information about palliative care. Hopefully that gives you some good information about what that service is and how to reach out to Chrissy if that's something that you're interested in. My part of the presentation is going to focus more on organizing. If you have any questions as we go along, since this is a small group, just feel free to shout it out, because I think everybody in the room will benefit from each other's questions. So how do you stay organized in your home in an ever-changing world? These are some of the factors that we all face as we go through life. We all go through transitions, and that brings on change. And we have to constantly adapt in our homes so that we can stay organized and avoid clutter. So, different family situations such as parenting, empty nesters, we have to manage information across generations. If you have kids or grandkids that need to know important financial or healthcare information, we need to transfer that information across generations. Different people deal with marriage, divorce, the passing of a spouse, which means that there are always people coming in and out of our lives, and so we need to adjust our lives in relation to that, so that different people have the information that is important to them to make sure that they can help take care of us if necessary. Some people are facing work changes, retirement changes, and we're so geographically mobile now. We're traveling, and many people are in the process of moving, upsizing, or downsizing, depending on the type of home that you need during different stages of life. Adjust this a little bit. Additionally, healthcare information. So now healthcare information is online. There are patient care portals, and we need to be able to access that information. We need to be able to share that information with our loved ones so they can access it if a time comes that we are on palliative care or hospice care. It's important for our family members to have that information. Additionally, with modernization comes a digital footprint. So many of us now have an online presence to some extent. So we either have email, we might have pictures and video online, we have passwords to various things, we may be on social media. So all of that needs to be communicated to some extent with our family members or our friends, so that if necessary, they can have access to that under certain circumstances. So many seniors that I work with have some common fears. Fear of loss, fear of technology, and fear of what will happen to their stuff. And so I'm going to talk about some things today to help alleviate some of those fears when it comes to organizing. Okay, so for many of the people I work with, they have prepared some legal documentation, some financial documentation in order to make sure that they can stay at home and age in place. For many people, a senior living community is the direction that they want to take, but for others, they want to stay home and they want to age in place at home. And so they may have services coming into their home to help them with that, and they may have worked with a financial planner to put together, and an attorney to put together various documentation and financial planning to make sure that they can stay at home. But once all of that is done, then what do, right? How do you store and maintain and share that information with your family and friends? And why is this so critical? I always like to give some statistics and kind of lay a little bit of a foundation so that everybody understands how important this topic really is. So nearly a quarter of people 65 and over said they didn't know where their elderly parents' estate documents are stored. Well, that's kind of a scary situation, right? I mean, you go through all this work to plan that paperwork, but if your family members don't know where it is, well, how do they follow the things that you've laid out for your loved ones and heirs? 44% didn't know what is in those documents. So they don't even know if their parents have a trust, a will, a power of attorney. That's kind of a scary thing, because if you or your loved one is in the hospital and nobody knows if or where your power of attorney is located, it's really hard to make healthcare decisions and know what the person would have wanted. A disorganized estate can put tremendous burden on heirs in an already overwhelming and stressful time. And unfortunately, this can lead to obstacles when heirs need to pay off final bills and funeral costs. So when I talk with people about legacy planning, I hit on several categories, and there's 2 slides, and these are the categories of information that we pull together in order to have a complete organized estate. So we're going to go through these in a little bit more detail, and there's 2 slides with some different bullet points, and we're going to go through each one. So your notification list. So this should be detailed contact information with names, phone numbers, and email addresses of the family members that are most important to you in your life that you would need to communicate with. Friends, clergy, your accountant, attorney, financial planner, or banker, and any healthcare practitioners. So if your family members needed to step in and take over with your financial situation or legal situation or healthcare situation, these are the contact information of the people that are most critical to you for that person to carry on. Personal data and family information. So your own personal information. What are your email addresses? So for some people, they only have 1. I have 4. It's kind of excessive, but everybody has generally 1 or 2 email addresses. What are your passwords? What social media accounts do you have? What cloud storage do you have? So for some people, this may not be pertinent, but for other people, if they are storing any types of photos or video, if you have an iPhone or any type of device like that, I mean, you're storing it to some type of cloud system. You want to get as basic as where's your library card, your voter registration card, your social security card. Do you have a safety deposit box, and where is the key? Yes, you have a question?
Why on earth the library card and the voter registration?
It's just not something that you want floating around. So I was downsizing a home in the fall, and we came across old social security cards.
Well, that I understand.
And we came across safety deposit box cards, keys with the little envelope, and it said the box number. And
I understand that, but the library card and the voter registration, I don't understand.
Well, that is your personal data. So you just don't want that to end up getting thrown away accidentally and then found by somebody else. It's the same reason why if you open your mail and you get all these credit card offers and you don't want to just throw that in the garbage, right? You want to rip it up or shred it because you don't want somebody to take on your identification. Right? You don't want somebody to open up a credit card in your name. There's just so much fraud out there, unfortunately. So it's really a way to make sure that your family members know where this information is so they can destruct it if necessary, so that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Okay? Because if somebody gets a voter card or a registration card, all they have to do is go to one of those places and get a whole bunch more information on you. They can get your address, potentially your social security number. Really, that's what it is. It's to protect you. Or if somebody is clearing the estate. Like I said, I have found safety deposit keys, box keys in people's homes. And the envelope, the one I found recently, said Bank One. Well, Bank One hasn't been around for a long time, right? Because it was bought out by Chase. And the family members didn't even know which Bank One, or now Chase, actual site the safety deposit box was at. So, that's a lot of headache to go through to figure all of that out, to even find out, is there anything in the safety deposit box and what's there? So, it's just basically making people aware of this information and how they can get into a safety deposit box if they need to. There might be some critical documents in there. Okay, so your healthcare information, and this really I think feeds off of Chrissy's presentation. This is so important. When I was a social worker, I would encounter individuals and family members, and if their loved one was incapacitated for some reason, and their family members didn't really know much healthcare information, they were so overwhelmed trying to figure this out. So it's important that somebody has access to when are your medical appointments, who are your physicians and your other healthcare practitioners, what's your medication list. So I would have a lot of individuals whose family this person wasn't able to manage their medications anymore, but the family members have to pick up the pieces, and if they don't know the correct medications or allergies, that can be really detrimental. Clinical tests, immunizations, what treatments has the person gone through, what is their nutrition or their fitness level, are they engaged in any support groups, what type of healthcare insurance do they have, where are their EOBs, their explanation of benefits, any other billing that they have for healthcare, and again, the health portals, which you can gain so much information, but if you don't have access to that and the password information to get in, you can feel very lost. I've gone through some of this with my own family members, and I can tell you that in a time of